The €400 price point is where we've seen some of the most exciting phones of the past year, bringing about the rise of brands like OnePlus and Honor. 2016's Honor 8 was a decent bet for anyone wanting a lot of phone for not a lot of money, but in many ways it was still a mid-range phone. So what would happen if you took the DNA of the Honor 8 and applied it to a bigger flagship tier product? Well, you get this, the Honor 8 Pro. Before we get started, go ahead and hit that subscribe button if you want to see more of the latest Android devices as they arrive. In a lot of ways, the Honor 8 Pro takes every aspect of the Honor 8 and cranks it up a notch or two. It's bigger physically, with a larger, higher-res display. It's more powerful thanks to Huawei's latest Kirin 960 chip. It's got a whopping 6 gigs of RAM up from 4 in the Honor 8, and the base storage has been bumped to 64 gigs plus microSD. And fueling all that is an enormous 4000 mAh battery, matching the 2-day battery life of the Huawei Mate 9 in a much more compact body. Speaking of which, the Honor 8 Pro's metal chassis looks fantastic, especially in this navy blue colour, which will be the main colour for the UK. It's less slippery and scratch prone than the Honor 8's glass back, and the slim side bezels and slightly angled sidewalls make it pretty easy to hold for a 5.7 incher. Plus there's something about the metal shell that just feels more sturdy and premium. The screen itself is an IPS LCD at Quad HD resolution, which matches the quality of other flagships out there, even under bright sunlight. Colours are punchy but not blown out, and the added pixel density compared to the 1080p resolution of most Huawei phones is a welcome upgrade. This is a really great display. The big screen makes the Honor 8 Pro a fairly large handset, but it doesn't feel unwieldy in the hand, and it's just as pocketable as many smaller Android phones. And to me at least, the one-touch fingerprint scanner around the back is still easy to reach, and as I come to expect from Huawei and Honor, extremely fast. That speed applies to every other area of the Honor 8 Pro's software. There aren't really any visual changes in EMUI 5.1 compared to the older version 5, instead it's mostly about tuning up performance, adding a couple of new features like video highlights in the Gallery app. And when you combine that with a proven CPU and 6 gigs of RAM, you've got a phone that's lightning fast. Of course, the latest version of EMUI also benefits from the complete facelift that came in EMUI 5, making it easier on the eyes than older phones running version 4 of the software. The notification area now works the way Google intended. EMUI isn't as aggressive at customizing your icons anymore. There's still plenty of iOS influences here, particularly in the launcher, but elsewhere Huawei has settled into a cool blue and white colour palette, and it works pretty well. The features that were useful back in the days of the Honor 7 and Honor 8 have stuck around, including the wealth of theming options and power controls to help you eke even more power out of the Honor 8 Pro's massive cell. Not that you'll really need to worry about longevity here. The 4000 mAh battery routinely had me finishing the day with more than 50% in the tank, even with a 5.7 inch Quad HD screen to power. And while the phone doesn't support Huawei's latest supercharging tech, you do at least get 9V 2A quick charging, which is still reasonably quick. The camera hardware hasn't really changed a whole lot since the Honor 8, with dual 12MP cameras around the back, one RGB, one black and white, behind f2.2 lenses with laser autofocus. But don't let that similarity fool you, the Honor 8 Pro absolutely takes better photos than the 8, particularly in low light. It does that thanks to the beefier CPU and image signal processor and new image processing software. If there was ever an example of how processing is just as important as optics in a phone camera, this is it. The Honor 8 Pro has the same excellent dynamic range as many other Huawei built cameras, along with the same neat low depth of field tricks you've been seeing as well. And while low light performance doesn't reach the dizzy heights of the Pixel or the G6, it is damn good for a phone at this price. It's at least as good as the OnePlus 3T and maybe a little better in certain conditions. So pricing, can you guess how much? Well, the Honor 8 Pro is the most expensive handset to come out of the Honor brand so far, but even at £475, I think this phone is excellent value. Its most direct competitor is the OnePlus 3T, which starts at $400, but the 8 Pro has a larger, higher-res screen, a much bigger battery, and expandable storage. And an extra £75 for all that stuff isn't unreasonable. In fact, at this price point, the Honor 8 Pro even brings the heat to more expensive Huawei-branded phones like the Mate 9 and P10 Plus. Past Honor phones have been pretty good for the money. The difference with the Honor 8 Pro is that it is just a great phone, without the need for any qualifiers. Between the fantastic performance and battery life, the surprisingly good camera, and the maturity of EMUI 5.1, this is a phone that I can absolutely recommend. For more on the pros and cons of the Honor 8 Pro, check out my written review on AndroidCentral.com, and be sure to subscribe to us here on YouTube so you don't miss new reviews and opinions as they land. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.